What is an abstract and why it is important? Hi everyone, nice to see you again. Do you remember what you have written in your abstracts? In this unit, you will learn about the definitions of an abstract and the importance of an abstract, the IPMRC structure of the abstracts, and model abstracts which meet the criteria of a good abstract. Related research has defined that an abstract is an accurate summary. It has to be prepared by a researcher to represent the content of a research article. The quality of the abstracts can determine whether the article is going to circulate. For example, whether the entire article deserves further attention or not. The abstract is really essential to your paper. Before your article is published, the abstract is important because the journal's editors will always read the abstracts before examining the paper in depth and get a first impression of your work. If your article is approved by the editor office, it will be sent out to review. When reviewers of the articles accept your paper, they do not have the access to the full text article until they accept the invitation. So, their decision is entirely based on the abstracts. After publication, the abstract is crucial for the success of your paper. When the reader searches of your research in your database, the results show the title list of the article titles based on what matches best with what they are looking for. They click on it and access the abstracts. Thus, your abstract is the front door to your paper. It has to give readers all the most important elements of an introduction, a purpose, methodology, a result, and a conclusion. And it has to make them want to read your full text articles. After all, your goal is to ensure that your paper has the best possible extent within the community. A well-written abstract will interest more people to read to your article and increase the chances of your work getting cited. Structure of an abstract, an IPMRC framework. The abstract will define and answer the principal questions about your article. You can set an abstract outline with these questions. What is the background and why it is a problem? What is the purpose of research and what is it for? How did the research conduct? So, what is the result? Then, what is the conclusion of the research? This question will help you build your article, but more importantly, they are going to help you define background of the article, then the result, contribution, and the implication of your own research. A preliminary question is the first one. Knowing the intended readers are important, as depending on the journal, the abstract is going to be more or less specific. If you write for science, such as in a social area, your abstract is going to be specific with an introduction. In the other sides, hard science, such as in natural science area or techniques area, they tend to write more on the description of the method with a more explicit result and not going too deep in details. Then, you just need to answer all the questions with a short answers, 1 to 2 sentences, and compile everything into a tiny paragraph. And the abstract is done. Easy, isn't it? To help you build the abstracts, you can always use the IPMRC framework. The idea is to answer specific types of questions that are relevant for the structure of the abstracts. An abstract is composed of different parts: the introduction, the purpose, the methodology, the results, and the conclusion. The readers are going to evaluate your paper by looking at the abstracts. It should be possible simply by reading an abstract to know the so what of your study. And it should be possible for a reader who are not familiar with the specific subject to understand it. This is not very easy, but we are here to help. Depending on the journal you send your article to, the abstract strength can vary a lot. Usually, its length ranges between 100 and 200 words. However, some papers has very tiny abstracts, 40 words, or even no abstracts. So, you will have to adapt to the types of the journal you want to publish in. And here again, I advise you to look carefully at the abstracts of the journal you want to publish in, to imitate the style and understand the construction. The abstract is a key component of an article. It is a preface. It sums up everything you are going to write about after. The idea is that you will use your abstracts as a map for what you will talk about later on. You are going to use your abstracts as a construction map in order to build up your article. Know the abstracts in your community. In the introduction, you need to talk at first of the information and the what and why of your article. Then we make people consider reading your article in the first place. Then you need to describe a little bit more precisely about the purpose. Next, defining how your research has done something important. In other words, defining the methodology you are going to apply to the specific question raised before. Next, you need to describe briefly of your result. And finally, you need to put your results in the context and explain why they were important. Again, look at the questions and answer them carefully. They will help you. The last question concerns the then what question, whether the research finding fill the gaps, or you may put some implications for your findings. All of this is pretty easy, but you have to be careful to answer very clearly and very simply every question. Every one of them is important. And most importantly, you should always consider the questions when writing your abstracts. What are the key benefits for the readers? The questions is a central theme to all of your paper, as it will be the reading point and drive your writing. Remember that you are publishing something, and by doing so, you want to appeal to your readers. Look just at the title and some abstracts of the papers in your field. Do you feel attracted to these papers? What should they imply about the abstracts? It is by looking at others' abstracts and you will be more capable of writing a good abstracts. Thank you for listening at this section of the abstracts, and good luck with your work.